Hello there. How's everybody doing? Um, Worked with YouTube. Finally got the live thing figured out. I don't know exactly what was up with that. I don't know. But yeah, some of y'all probably noticed I did get the live streaming going and getting a couple more viewers out of that. But yeah, hopefully people are in it for the long haul with me. Like I said, I don't plan on being in the same spot forever. It's just temporary while I save up money. And like I said, I feel like my credit is a little bit too high to go and pay rent somewhere. I'm not into that. I'd rather pay to own something after 30 years. Um, but yeah, rather than paying rent and doing a 1 year lease, 2 year lease, all that other shit, and then after 2 years end up finding out you either gotta pay another $200 a month to stay there, or you're getting chased out. And go fucking pack up all your shit and move again, lose some shit while you do it, all that kind of thing. But yeah, we're out here, hit the small town again. They gave another $25 quest for 5 deliveries, so I'm out here. I just ran number 3. Been out here since 11, and it's almost 4:30 now. That's how slow it is out here. It's crazy, but I mean, at least it's a nice, relaxing day. Think about it in the long run. The people do tip better out here because they're more appreciative. I feel like they're more, like somebody's actually willing to deliver out here. Holy, and you get a lot more tens out here, and the mileage is about the same. I want to say, wow, 50K. I just got a message back. This piece of property I was looking at, I could have sworn I seen it on Zillow for like 13 or 14,000, and there was a for sale by owner sign. I messaged the dude. He just messaged me back. He says 50K, and I was expecting like 12 grand or something, because it's for sale by owner. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get some land. That's right around my price range. There is land I seen out in this other city, but it's way out there. It's a city even smaller than this one. So like, if I wanted to Uber drive still for extra cash or whatever, I'd have to drive back out. I'd have to drive out of that city to do it. I do like the small town feel. I don't kind of like the city where I do the majority of my driving. I don't like it's way too much traffic. This little small town I'm in here, it's about 20% of the traffic, and then there's 3 lights to deal with instead of like 20 lights to deal with. Like the whole town is like pretty much just one highway, and a lot of little streets off that side roads, highways, whatever. But yeah, pretty much everything's built on that one little highway. So there's 3 lights you have to worry about, and once you get to that point, you through those 3 lights, and then you're going 55, and you're there in no time. But yeah, like I said, the other city, it's like another 20 miles north of this city, and like I could find land out there for like 9-10K. I've got 3,000 already. Um, and I need a place to live in the meantime too. So I'm hoping maybe I can find somebody, where it's like a buy owner thing, and they only want 10K for it, and I can hand them 5, and then pay them the rest, $500 a month, and maybe even give them some interest on that, like $500 a month and an extra 4 months. So they make an extra 2 grand out of the deal basically to finance it to me. I don't know. I don't think I would default on it, or I'd lose the terms completely or whatever. I might be late 1 month or something, have to be a week late somewhere. But I think 500 a month I could easily do if it's like for my place to live, because I could pull 500 a week out of Uber, on a good enough week. Shit, I've hit $1,000 a week in one week on Uber, just the food orders. If I don't know, had like a campground site that was mine, like this is my land kind of thing. Like I said, for 9,000, I can get there. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it would be nice if I could find someone who's willing to work with me, and I could just be there like 10 months ahead of time. Because I mean, I'm gonna save $500 a month pretty much, or still roughly either way, or more from living in the car. But yeah, just have like a base to drive back to at the end of the day would be a good feeling. Somewhere away from the city a little bit, kind of a little bit too far for a crackhead to ride a bicycle to. You know, that's all I'm really looking for. But yeah, I don't know. We just keep trucking, doing our thing, man. We'll get through it. But that's about it. Yeah, three orders today. But on the other side, we're already at like $40 on 3 deliveries because of the extra quest thing that they're doing. Like I said, we'll hit 2 more. It's like about 4:30 now. So I would imagine it's definitely picking up. I know between like 1 and 4 p.m. is kind of the slow time of day. Either way, anyway, like any weekday at least. You can, Saturdays and Sundays that kind of doesn't exist. But during the weekday between 1 and 4, it always slows down, no matter where you are. I'm sure in like major cities you probably don't notice it. Like New York or Austin or wherever, Atlanta. Fuck it, But yeah, because where I'm at, you got to figure there's probably only 15,000 people that are even an option to place an Uber order, and then you have to divide that by how many other drivers there are, and then DoorDash, the other network app, the other app and stuff, and how many drivers there are on that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm noticing. A lot of competition in being one of these Uber or DoorDash drivers. I don't know. It'd be a lot easier if there weren't so many other people doing it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody and their brother is like Ubering on the side, kind of. Which I get it. It's it's good legal money. It's terrible to beat up your car as much as we are doing, but yeah, that's just a part of it. It's just part of their big grand scheme of things, and that way they don't have to pay us hourly. Which I thought about it. Like when the restaurant would have like delivery drivers, you'd have to pay the delivery driver minimum wage, right? You pay the delivery driver minimum wage, and it doesn't even it's not going to improve your business necessarily. Whereas the way Uber works, if there's a delivery that comes in, they'll find a driver to do it. They don't pay no hourly wage, and then they jack the prices up. So when you order something through Uber, the same restaurant you'll see. I don't know if it's true for all of them, but I've noticed like at some restaurants you go to, if I go to call the restaurant, place an order at the restaurant directly, it's like 20% cheaper than ordering it like on the Uber app. The Uber app, like the menu, they'll increase the price on all the items, sell it to you. They're making 20% on the bill of sale, I think. Plus they're still charging you like $6 for the service. And then if you pay all that, I don't know how you can expect somebody to tip too. You know what I mean? I get that side of it, But I guess in a way it's better for business because the business itself doesn't have to pay out for an Uber driver. Another business was created to handle that, handle the logistics of all that. And in the meanwhile, the small guy gets screwed because you're not even an hourly employee anymore. Where it was, I don't know. Like if you drove out somewhere as a delivery driver, you're at least an hourly employee, and you get there and you're stiffed. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it sucks, but it's not that big a deal because you still made like $8, because you were on the clock during that time. But yeah, the way Uber is, man, you get the acceptance rate, and sometimes they'll send you a lot. They'll send you back-to-back orders that are like less than $3, stuff that they know you're never gonna accept, and they'll just send them to you just to fuck up your fucking acceptance rate. Like it looks blatant to me, you know what I mean? The way that I see it happen and everything. But yeah, because you'll see stuff. It's like, dude, I've never even driven out that way. Why would they think I want to go out that way for $3? Drive 24 miles one way into a whole nother fucking city I've never been in. I don't know any of the streets. I wouldn't know my way up from down, left or right. I wouldn't know east from west if I was facing the wrong direction. All that shit. And then you'll reject that, and then get 2 or 3 more of them, and then you'll get the same order you already rejected bundled in with another order, and it's like, oh, so you'll see it, like, oh, this guy didn't tip it, tipped like less than $1, and they'll bundle it in with another order and they'll give it to you again, and the other guy did tip, they did like leave like $8 or something, so they bundle it up and give it to you as like an $11 order to go run the two of them, and it's like, and the one guy that did tip, he's all the way at the end, I don't know, and you can't rotate the order or nothing. You have to just run it the way that they give it to you. Sometimes it doesn't make sense logistically. I'll be driving past a house 6 miles to go deliver to another house, and then drive 6 miles back to the other house to drop some shit off with them, and then the way it flew, I could have dropped off the one, then dropped off the other, and then headed all the way back up into the city to grab another order at another restaurant. But the way they did it, I had to drive past the house to that house, then back this way, and then back that way to go back up and into the city. Like, yeah, basically it was like an extra like 18 miles of driving. Well, 12, but still, 18. It took and it took 12 miles longer for the other person to get their order too, and then they were the one that tipped. Why should the person that got $1 get their shit first? Like, fuck them, like. They've already made up their mind of how much they're going to tip me, before I've even grabbed the order from the restaurant. I'd have to get there at light speed to be able to change their mind, because I've done it sometimes, man. I thought it would let's say like I'm expected by like 1:45, we'll say, and I'll be cruising. It's a 30-minute drive, I'll be cruising. I'll get there 15 minutes ahead. Right, and then nothing. I mean, it does happen. Like 1 out of 100, maybe somebody be like, "Wow, you were quick," and then like actually slip me an extra 5 or something. But yeah, majority of the time I'm like 5 minutes ahead of the expected time. And I don't know. I get they give you a little bit of a variance there too. So it's kind of like if you were 5 minutes early, then you were on time still. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Just waiting for this phone to ding. Hopefully it gives me another order here soon. I don't know if the camera's maybe messing it up to not get an order. It does still show me that, like the Uber thing is still on my screen, so it does still show me that the app is open and active, just like running in the background behind the camera going. So, but I don't want it to act up and I'll miss out on, I only need 2 more orders and then I can skedaddle out of this town and go back over to the other city and, make some more money for the day, without having to. So yeah, you sit here for 12 hours and maybe get 6 orders throughout that whole 12 hours you sat here, which is cool on certain days. But like I said, I started out like $100 behind basically today, so I got to kind of cover some ground, cover that back up, and then make some gas money after, So by the time I hit like $150 for the day, I basically zeroed back out, and we're at 35. So hopefully we can get these orders in so we can get back to the other city. And that's the crappy part, man. It's like there's no orders on this side of town or this city. There's not a lot of orders in this little town, and the other city nobody tips. So you're zigzagging back and forth, running around, doing 20 deliveries to make $100, and or you can be in this town, get your 8 runs, take you all fucking day to get it though. Get your 8 runs, and then make your $100 on 8 runs instead of 17 or 21. Oh my God, so you gotta catch 22 with this or that. Which one do you want? You want to be sitting all day bored, or do you want to ultimately burn more gas than the actual money that you're making? That's pretty much where it sits. But yeah, I don't try not to sound too depressing. It's just, man, get out of this credit card debt, I'd feel so much better. Yeah, my Bitcoin loan defaulted on me. I wasn't paying attention at the time. Like, I didn't realize, I don't know. Like, I halfway thought it was going to crash more. So I was like, yeah, go ahead and default on it. Yeah, go ahead. because they took the collateral. They're supposed to take the collateral to cover the loan, and then I thought they would give me the excess back because I put up more collateral than the loan was worth, you know. And so yeah, at the time when it sold, it fell all the way down. The collateral that I had in there was only like $1,700 or something, but the loan was for $1,500 plus the interest on that, you know. But still, I was expecting to get like $100 back of in Bitcoin, you know, back from to tell them to, you know, go ahead and liquidate the asset to cover the loan. You know, I thought I'd get the excess back on that, but no, I just lost it. So basically lost 0.03 Bitcoin, because I could have just waited and done the due diligence, waited a couple more months, and then submitted another loan when the price went back up to cover the other loan like I was supposed to. But I figured if I would just go ahead and liquidate it, I wouldn't have to worry about the loan hanging over my head. Wouldn't have to worry about getting the $1,600 together to pay that back. I could just keep putting, you know, more money onto Bitcoin, you know. But yeah, like losing 0.03 Bitcoin, I don't know. It doesn't sound like much, but you know, in the future, when people are watching this video, they'll be like, "Holy fuck!" Who knows, you know? But yes, it's still 3 million satoshis basically that I sold at the lowest point of the last 16 months, kind of forcibly, you know. Granted, it only went down under the liquidation level for like so long. Like a couple minutes basically. It fell down below the liquidation level and then bounced back up, fell like 10% and then recovered the same 10% in like 12 hours or something like that, you know. And I caught it at the wrong point, and yeah. But yeah, so you live and you learn, I guess. But yeah, the plan was, it was like half of my stack. I was going to take half the stack, put it up in there, build more in the meantime while the price was low. And then, you know, once, if I needed to, hopefully I can recollateralize less in the next year. Or recollateralize less, get my original chunk back, you know, like basically give them 0.025. Give them 0.025 to get your 0.03 back, you know. And if you're lucky, maybe you can scrap a couple $100 because the price moved that much. But it I don't know, it wasn't really a good year for Bitcoin. It was an awesome year if you were in silver. You fucking made out like a hound if you were in silver. But yeah, I don't know. It's just people clinging to the old system too much. Like, I don't know. Obviously, you don't want to be carrying bags of silver around with you when you go to the grocery store or to the mall. It'd be easier just to have your money digitally, like on your phone, and also secured on your phone. It's not like paper cash that someone could take from you, or jewelry that someone could snatch off your hand. It's kind of more like locked into your name. Even if they were to steal your phone, if you have enough protocol in place, security measures on your phone, they're not going to get to your Bitcoin just because they took your phone. They might intercept a couple of your phone calls, you know. That's about it, if you even get phone calls anymore. You know, it'll read some of your messages and look at some of your, I don't know how far they'd really go. But yeah, if somebody were like physically take your phone, I'm not even sure they'd be able to get into, or they'd even think about it. You know what I mean? At this point, they wouldn't be thinking Bitcoin when they steal your phone. They'd be thinking, can I sell this for $50? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it on that. Do a little bit of editing, try to beef the video up a little bit, make it, you know, a little more user enjoyable, I guess, user friendly. I don't know. But yeah, I'll check y'all around. Yeah, been a pretty good Friday so far. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.